change from the live stream to the PDFs. Right now, you should see my econ, the personal financial success, right?
Yes.
Income for life, right?
Sure do. Sure do.
All right, we're in the right place. All right, Damon, you go ahead and get started with the recording then, sir. All right.
Okay. Good to go.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, I believe he called the Eagle's Nest. I think that's a great thing there, you know. But now remember what the eagle does, okay? The eagle is born in the nest, but in a few days after they've been kind of born there and lived there for a while, the mother eagle kicks them out, you know, and drops them, and they have to fly. So we want to make sure when we drop you, you can fly. Doesn't mean we're not going to be there for you, but we are going to continue to be there for you. So we want to put some things in you that's going to be absolutely life-changing for you. Now, my econ is short for my economy. My economy. I want you to think about my economy, okay? Because you want for Damon and Ashley to be successful. I'm sure you are happy for Alvin Curry, my econ, and all that. But really the most important thing around is for you to be successful in your endeavor in business. Now, you may have been in business time and time again, and you may have had some success or limited success, or you failed. But let's get a clear definition of what we are trying to do at My Econ, which I believe everybody is trying to do, whether you are in the insurance and investment industry with Damon or whether you're in some other type of business, because I hear people all in ministry talk about finances. I hear people in all different types of businesses tell people about finances. But here's the simple thing. We're trying to have income for life. Now, I use as an example here $75,000 per month income for life. I want you to take a look at that. That breaks down to $62.50 per month. Now, on the left-hand side here, you see the $62.50 come from a job, which is approximately 90 to 95% of the people in this country does. On the right-hand side, it comes from a business. Very few people are going to go out and build a business that's going to pay them $75,000 a year income and live from that. Now, but the problem with the jobs is this. They're going to take out taxes. They're going to take out state and federal income taxes. They're going to take out Social Security and Medicare taxes. Collectively, when you look at your pay stub, you're going to have somewhere between 25 and 33% of your money gone for taxes before you ever get started to pay into the bills. But now when you go out and finance your home, you go out and finance cars and get other debts, those debts are based upon the gross income and not the net. The debts are based on the $62.50 and not the $4,700. Now, say, Alvin, how do you know this? Well, after 32 years of working in the industry, I ran a mortgage bank for many years. I ran a mortgage brokerage for many years. I know exactly what we use to finance houses on. We use the gross income. I have bought homes myself. I know exactly what they use. So as a business person, when I went in business, then I bought my home there. They wanted to see my taxes because on the business side, they wanted to see what did I have left after I lowered my taxes. But on the left-hand side, which is a job, they did it off the gross. Now, everyone needs to have income to take care of their life, where you are, whatever lifestyle you've chosen. So when you go to school, get an education, you're getting an education with the expectations that you are going to earn X amount of dollars from a profession. If you choose to go to school and become a nurse, that nurse expectation is I'm going to earn X amount of dollars. Most people don't believe they're going to earn millions of dollars as a nurse, but it is reasonable to think they can earn $50,000 to $100,000 depending on the nurse's capacity they're in. People who go to school and become, let's say, HVAC people who take care of air conditioning and heating, they don't expect they're going to earn millions of dollars doing that, but most people expect they can get what they call a good job that will pay them $50,000 to $75,000, $80,000 a year with benefits. And then, of course, you take people who do things like IT. Many of them feel like maybe they might make six figures to $200,000, $300,000. but most of them not thinking, I'm going to make millions of dollars. That's just not what people do. Because if they thought that, they would then do differently. Now, business owners in any of those capacities could earn millions of dollars. However, in jobs, most people don't. We're not criticizing that because we know that's what keeps the economy flowing is jobs. But here's the other part. One day, somewhere in the distant future, you're going to want to retire. When you retire, that means stop working. When you stop working, you're going to need to maintain your lifestyle and income through some method. So where you have to ask yourself this question in the first person. When I retire, where will I get the money I need to maintain my lifestyle? So if I need $75,000 when I retire, I'm going to need at a minimum $750,000 if I get 10% on my retirement fund, which is very high for retirement funds. Or I'm going to need $1.5 million if I'm going to put it in something like an annuity. And then, because see, when people reach retirement age, most people, even though they may be aggressive during their accumulation phase, they become very conservative in their retirement phase and in the payout phase of the money. So once they reach the retirement age and start living on the money, most people are not trying to get 10%. They're getting 4 to 5% on something conservative. And they're saying, I just want to live on the money. I don't want to be ups and downs because I'm not planning on going back to work. So they need $1.5 million if they're going to get that. Now, I want to show you a little bit deeper today on this than what I showed you earlier. When a person go out, this is how life generally works for them. On the $75,000, they get what they call debt to income ratio of 45% for a mortgage. That is when they get a house, they got a mortgage payment, car payment, credit card, student loan, furniture. Now we know, ladies and gentlemen, living in California, mortgages are more than $1,200. However, living in some places in other parts of this country, $1,200 may be high. So we're just using that as a range here. So we got $2,800 in what's called debt to income. These are the debts you can pay off. Then you have recurring expenses. These are things that are not going to be paid off. Utility payment, home phone, insurance, food, auto, gas, cell phone. These are things that are not going to be paid off. That's $1,650. And then we have additional lifestyle. Some people have health insurance, some does not. Some people have daycare, some do not. Yet most people have some form of entertainment. They eat out some, they go to movies, they go out and do things, they go on vacations. And then personal items are things like, beautician, pedicures, manicures, all those things, massages, just whatever you want to do, buy yourself a new outfit. These are personal items. So now that's about $1,250. So when we look at this in the red, most people don't tithe. According to national statistics, 17% of the people that go to church tithe. Emergency fund and retirement savings are next to none. Now, so when you take the average family who's trying to do good, they take this $1,600, this $6,250, and they start to subtract out what they said they're supposed to do. If I subtract out the first 10 to give to God, the second 10 to go into my retirement savings, that is now $625, 10% of $6,250 to go to God, 10% of $6,250 to put in my savings, $2,800 for my household debts, $1,650 for my recurring expenses, emergency fund $250, additional lifestyle $1,250, and taxes $1,550. This person who makes $75,000 is $2,500 in the hole. That means they need approximately $3,000 to fix their problem. Here's the problem with most of the plans you see out here talking about fixing the problem. They don't even know what the problem is. So if you haven't analyzed the problem in someone's life to this degree, you don't even know what it is you're trying to fix. So when you tell people, talking about, I'm going to flip real estate and I'm finna go get rich overnight. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to join a network marketing company and I'm going to get rich, man. All I got to do is get 2 or 3 and I'm going to get rich. And all of these different things that people talk about that they are going to get done. They have no idea, number one, what the problem is. So they have no idea of how to fix it. So what people just generally do is they do what they've been taught by mother, father, sister, brother. They generally do not tithe. They do not save for themselves. They do not have an emergency fund. So that's $1,500 of the $2,500. And then they put everything else on credit card. And they just struggle to get by. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my econ is different. Let me give you a couple other facts here before we go forward. I want to prove something to you. My econ is so different, we don't have to depend on what we say alone. We can depend on government agencies to tell you what we're talking about. I'm sure all of you know who the U.S. Census Bureau is. This is a 2013 document from the last Census Bureau. What this document says is the average age is 62 of retirement. The average person is going to retire for 18 years. And the average 50-year-old person, now think about a 50-year-old person, they have been an adult for 25 to 30 years. They have $43,000 saved for retirement. 80% of the 30-year-olds are 54. They don't believe they're going to ever retire. So let's get into some other numbers. What really blew my mind. This blew my mind. Out of 100 people, each of you that's over 25 years of age fall in a group of 100 people somewhere. 29 is dead. Well, of course, if you're with Damon, he's going to tell you how to prepare for it if you are one of those people in the unlikely eventuality that you are one of those people who die before you reach age 65, leave your family struggling. He helps take care of that. But here's what blew my mind. 63% are dependent on Social Security, friends, relatives, and charity. 63 out of 100 folks, that transcends every race, every gender, every nationality, every sexual preferences, everything. So while we're arguing about all of these other things, we're letting the big deal pass us by. 63 out of 100. That transcends everything, geographic and everything. 3% is still working. 4 out of 100, only 4 out of 100, has adequate capital stored away for retirement. And of course, we know the 1% that are rich. So what this tells me, ladies and gentlemen, is 95% of the people in the United States are potentials for what we teach at MyEcon. Let me take it one step further. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, now I put some numbers up a minute ago. If a person it says how much amount needed to save for retirement. Monthly income, if you live 20 to 30 years, $1,000, you need $166,000 to $212,000. I want you to remember that the average 50-year-old only had 43. So if a person says, I want $5,000 in retirement, they need $800,000 to $1 million. And remember, we said 6250. So between 6 and 7, we need between $1 million and $1.4 million. Ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. See, when you understand what it is you're trying to do, and you understand the magnitude of the problem, you'll understand why MyEcon attacked this problem the way we did. Let me show you one other document, then I'm going to show you how we're going to keep working on how we're going to fix it. Okay, some of you may have seen this today, and some of you may not have seen this today. U.S. households that do not pay income taxes. All right, the source, again, not MyEcon, the Tax Policy Center. And the Tax Policy Center, they got the data, related statistics, IRS, Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. So now, let's look at the number of people, 47% that pay no federal income taxes. Under 50,000, that's 63,500,000 people pay no taxes. How do you determine if you pay no federal income taxes? You were sent, if you have a job, you should have received in the mail or given to you at your job something called a W-2 somewhere around January to the end of January. 1st of January to the end of January, you should have received that. On that W-2, it will tell you how much taxes they took out of your check for federal, how much they took out for state, how much they took out for Social Security and Medicare, how much was taken out for union dues, how much was taken out for every other aspect of this life that you do. Whatever was taken out of your check, your pay stub and your W-2 will tell you that. So if they took out 10,000 and you got all 10,000 back, you paid no taxes. If they took 10,000 out and you got 3,000 back, you paid $7,000 in taxes. You paid 10% of your money in taxes for federal. That's not counting state. Then that's not counting Social Security and Medicare. So if you took 10,000 out and you got all 10,000 back, you paid no taxes. If they took 0 out and when you file your taxes, you still did not have to pay any, you paid no taxes. So that's how you determine it. It's not magic. Look at your W-2 and then look at what's on your taxes. Now, people that make 50 to 100, many of you are following this category. 55,700,000 people paid no taxes. Some of you fall in this category, 100,000 to 500,000. 736,000 people paid no taxes. 500,000 to 1,000,000, 17,000, over 1,000,000, 6,000 people. See, how do we know how many people paid no taxes? A total of 71 million paid no taxes because they filed taxes. You would never hear me say that you don't have to file taxes. You'll never hear me say you don't have to file them correctly. You just simply hear me say that there is no law requiring you to pay. So since the law doesn't require you to pay, it does require you to file. How do people who make so much money don't pay any taxes? They file, yet they don't pay any taxes. How do they do that and don't go to jail? Because you hear people say you're going to go to jail if you don't pay taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, the law says if you have legitimate tax deductions and you can prove your legitimate tax deductions if you ever get audited, then those legitimate tax deductions will lower your taxable income. Now, what you hear in the media is big corporations have what they call loopholes. So that is a ebonic name for tax deductions. So if you want to call them loopholes, we're going to show you today how you get you some loopholes. So you got to understand the laws are not black and white. They're not rich and poor. They're not Republican and Democrat. They are the laws of the United States of America. And whosoever, if you are a whosoever, get involved in these laws, you too can have the advantage. As my buddy Damon likes to say, we done discovered how to declaw the lion. He was running around here thinking the IRS was a lion with big claws, and he figured out, wait a minute, they ain't even got no claws. They ain't got no teeth, so they can't do much to hurt you. But here's the good thing is, ladies and gentlemen, they actually give you documentation telling you how to get all of these deductions. But now that thing is thousands and thousands of pages thick. So we know that the average person ain't never gonna read none of that stuff. Many of your tax preparers never read it. And so they don't know how all of this works. So what we've done at MyEcon is we've taken the opportunity at MyEcon to put all of this, at least the stuff we teach, into a training manual and make it easy for you to do. You can just zero in on what you need to know without having to go through something that's got 81,000 pages to it. We pulled out just the information. And yesterday in this spot, whoever was on the call yesterday, you witnessed me going through telling you what publication you could use. What publication you could use to do and get tax deductions. So we're going to recap just a little bit of that today, and then we're going to use our last 25, 30 minutes to talk about record keeping. So, Damon, what I like to do now, and I want to make sure that this transitions the right way. I think I understand what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go to sharing, and this time I'm going to go to my website.
Yep, when you hit share, then put the new screen on that you want to see. There you go.
Now you got the Millionaire Society now, right?
Millionaire Society, we got you right there.
Boy, halfway through, I got it right. Finally, man. I finally learned how to do it, okay? Hey, guys.
Praise God.
I appreciate all of you all being patient with me. I grew up in an era of the manual typewriter, and I'm really not that techy. Now, what I am, I'm not trying to brag, I am a wealthy person. So what I generally do is all this for me. But today, I'm working with you all on this. I'm personally doing this, so I don't have the people with me. But I got some very good technology people around me, and they take care of all of the technology stuff, all the social media stuff for me, because we realize as a company we must be there. So we hire people to do that, which I am not good at doing. You don't have to know everything to be good in the areas you need to be, and then hire other people to do what you can't do, and you get wealthy. Let's go to the website. Each of you who have joined my econ already through this partnership with Damon, you will have a website. Your website will look just like mine. Up here, mine is the Millionaire Society. So I'm building a society. I am building a society of tens of thousands of millionaires over the next 5 to 7 years. So my name is Alvin Curry. So I'm going to just click right here, log in, and I'm going to show you what I showed you yesterday. And we're going to fly through this really quickly today, but I'm going to go through it. So when you log in, you come up to what's called the Business Management Center. So I'm going to come down here to Document Center, log in and come to the Document Center. Now watch when this change, I now have a new set of tabs. So under this new set of tabs, I have the training manual. Boom. Now drop down menu here on the training manual, and I'm going to go with training manual strategy 3 right here, minimizing taxes. Now, what I'm going to do is open this up. I'm not going to go through it as detailed as I did yesterday. I'm just going to point out some things to you so you can see it. Go back and read it later on. And if you were not on here yesterday, then you have to go read this in your spare time, okay? Now, so here's the deal, okay? Income shifting strategy 3, minimizing taxes, okay? All we're doing here is we're not trying to make you tax preparers. We're trying to help you to understand what records you need to keep and why it's so important, and then how to write that off. So we come down here, we did car and truck expense. Here is the tab, publication 463. If anybody ever asks you, where do we get it from? It tells you right here, Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. Publication 463 is where we get car and truck. If anybody say to you, you cannot write off if you're driving back and forth to work. I pulled this picture up yesterday and showed you leaving home, driving into LA, leaving home, driving into Dallas, leaving home, driving into Atlanta, or wherever you're driving, 40, 50 miles each way. The arrow points both ways. You never get a deduction. Leave home, go to a temporary work location, restaurant, get a cup of coffee, news, Starbucks, get a gas, give out a brochure, driving both ways. Now it's always deductible. We showed you that. We went through. We talked about what transportation is deductible here. We come on through, and we talked about standard mileage. Then we talked about your actual expenses. What are actual expenses? We talked about these are actual expenses. These are interest. How do you determine those? We went through this yesterday. I can't do it today. We're going to cover record keeping today. Okay, we are going to cover that today. Then we come on down here and we talk some more about interest. Here's another publication on interest. Publication 334, IRS, not my econ. So we showed
Okay,
you.
hold on, sir. We can't see your screen. Your screen's still showing the My Econ back office. Are you on
Okay.
training? We see your training manual.
All right. Let's see here. Why we can't see what I'm showing you. How about now?
Yep. Now we see it. Good to go.
Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm showing you where this comes from, the training manual, and these are publications that you can see in the MyEcon back office. Okay, so let me just kind of recap this really quickly because you're recording this. I just want to recap it really, really quickly. So this will be on the recording, Damon. Okay, but that's good. You have to keep me. You have to keep me posted. Okay, because I'm here. All right. Publication 463, car and truck expense. Can you see that, Damon?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. So now you see right here. We showed this yesterday. Driving back and forth to work is never deductible, right? But when we stop at a temporary work location and driving back and forth, it's always deductible. We showed that in detail yesterday, how you get those miles. We showed in detail yesterday the transportation. We showed in detail yesterday standard mileage. This is standard mileage. How do you do the mileage? We showed that in detail. We showed in detail actual expenses. How do you choose actual expenses versus standard mileage? We showed interest rate yesterday. And for those of you that are new today, we can't keep doing the same thing. We have to get through all of this. That's why we kind of moving through it quick today, because we went in detail on this yesterday. Now we're going to do record keeping today. We went into interest on your car. You have interest payments on your car. We went into that. This is publication 334. And here is how interest on your car works. Then we come on down here and we went into communication. Communication is publication 535. And we talked about telephone, and we told you why you can't take home unless you make a profit. Utilities. Meals, we cannot take entertainment. We talked about that yesterday. But we're in publication 463 again. And we coming on down to meals, and we talked about those. Now, we're going to come down to travel expense. We talked about travel. Travel is publication 334. Then we talked about in travel meals. You can take meals when you travel. You can take transportation, taxi, commuter, bus, limousine, baggage, shipping, car, truck, meals and lodging, cleaning, telephone, tips. You can come on down now, and we went to wages. And we came in here and we showed you how and what it looks like to employ your children to work for you in your business. So now you have child employed by parent. That was publication. I went down a little fast. I want to make sure you see it. Publication 15. So if anyone says to you, Alvin Curry told you this, I did. I'm quoting the IRS. I'm not trying to get you to make you think that Alvin don't want to stand by his word. But ladies and gentlemen, people want to debate against each other. We have to say, what does the law say? Not what Alvin say. Not what your HR department say. Not what your tax professionals say. We all file taxes to the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. And so if someone tell you what I'm saying is untrue, ask them if they could read. Say, could you read publication 15 and tell me what it means? Maybe they read something I don't know. But ask them at least, could they at least read it and tell you what it means? Don't let them give you this their idea, their opinion. They just, well, that's what I think. Well, you know, I've been doing this 40 years. And it doesn't matter how long they've been doing it if they've been doing it wrong. Now you're going to hear people say stuff like, they're just too good to be true. Well, I don't know why. Because if you ask the average person, do they believe that the rich pay less taxes as a percentage of their money than middle to low income people? They'll tell you rich folks don't pay no taxes. They believe that because that's what the news media told them. See, they believe what the media said, but now you're telling them you have the right to act like the wealthy. They even believe they want to one day have some money, but they don't want to do what wealthy people do. See, here's what I'm going to say to you, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a person that says, I want to be wealthy, never take financial advice from broke people. My parents, I loved them dearly, but my parents were broke all their lives. So it wouldn't do me no good to take financial advice from my parents. We did in our family go back and do, like many families have done, research on family history on all sides of my family. All my family members were broke before me. Now today, all of my family on every side acknowledges my wife and I are not broke. They know we know by far we got more wealth than all of them did. Now I'm not saying this to brag. So we obviously did something they didn't do. I want to talk to you about that today. I have about another good 30 minutes or so here, and I want to spend some time talking to you about that, and we're going to take questions. Now, these publications that I just showed you, what these publications does is they give you the IRS guidelines. Remember that IRS tax code is 80-some thousand pages. So what we did is we pulled out 6 or 7 real good codes that you can use to turn this into deductible income. Remember yesterday, we showed you how if you do what I was showing you, you can get $40,000, $50,000 of business expenses in a year. And when you do that, you will be like big corporations to reduce your taxes to virtually nothing. For those of you that were not on at 12 today, we took those that $50,000 and we showed how if you put that into on your W-4. Now remember, you get a W-2 between January the 1st and January 30th. But when you get a job to tell how much taxes come out, you complete something called a W-4. In our 9 o'clock session for you, noon for me, we went through that form today and showed how a person went from paying $6,000 in taxes a year with no job, with no business. They had a job, they had children, they had other deductions, but they still had $6,000 plus a year to pay in taxes, to where with the deductions for business expense, that went to less than $500 a year in taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is huge. That is huge. That's what Damon telling you when he said, now you're going to get $800 to $1,000 back. Will you take that money? This person ended up getting $10,000 back in total return. That's over $800 a month. Will you take portion of that money and take care of yourself? Save some money for you, your economy. That's why it's called My Econ. Will you take care of your economy? Will you then take care of God's house if you're a Christian? Will you then get out of debt if you have debt and all that with the money? Take the money and do something for you. Now, some of you, and I can't make you do it, do differently, going to take that money and go buy a big Mercedes-Benz because you believe that a car defines you. And if that's what you believe and that's what you do, remember you still did income shifting. You just shifted your wealth from where you took it from the government and gave it to the Mercedes-Benz dealership and made sure Mercedes-Benz grandchildren was okay instead of making sure you own. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to decide what you're going to do. Now, but for any of these to count, you have to have the tax, you have to have good record keeping. Now, so let me go back in here. I think I got this thing down, Damon, this time. And I'm going to go to
looking good
here. And we should be back on the website now. Are we?
Yep. We're back on the BMC home right there.
Okay, so now you see BMC home, right?
Yep.
That's what you see,
Business Management Center. Business Management Center. Yep, we good to go.
Okay, so now every one of you that joined my econ, if some may have not joined, that's why I'm using the word everyone that has. When you join, when you paid your $100 or whatever it is you pay to join, what you get for your $34 a month is this income shifting membership. You get this. So inside of this income shifting membership, we're going to go through a lot of this, not all of it, but we're going to go through the cash flow manager in just a minute. Probably by tomorrow, if not today, we're going to go through the debt calculator, definitely by tomorrow. We've gone through withholding, correcting the withholding. And so we'll do this, but you have this. Even if you need your credit repair, you do not have to pay anything extra for credit. It's already included. So today, but you have to go in this membership and activate or set these things up if you want to use them. They don't automatically set up and say, hey, you now just go ahead and your stuff popped in. So now I went to Cash Flow Manager. This is record keeping the service. So for you, you won't have this up here what I'm showing. You have to create a new. So now if I create a new one, I'm just going to go in here and create a new one, and I'm going to call this All right, just create a new one. Save the file. Now, once I save the file, I can begin to enter data anywhere I want to. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how this go all the way through. I'm going to go back to my cash flow manager list. What you saw at first was just Big Willie. Now you see as. That was created today. Now you can see Big Willie was created back in 2008. So I have this, and I've been doing it every year. So it's saved, so your records are saved in the unlikelihood something happened to your home, a natural disaster happens. You know, you live in California. If you happen to be in the area, something natural happened to your home. You happen to live in Texas or somewhere where some of these natural disasters have happened, and you lose everything. Your records are safe because they're not stored on your computer. They're stored in the cloud. So we have here Big Willie. We're going to open up Big Willie because remember, as works the same way. So now here's the deal. We can open up and view edit expense. We can go over here and we can do all, let me go back. Let me do this. Let me go back to this because I want to go back to the dashboard. This is the dashboard. I need to make sure you understand this. From this dashboard, we can make any choices we want. In a new income and a new expense. In a new view income, view expense. A budget, set up a budget, reoccurring expenses, assign receipts and all that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in here and view edit expenses. So here's what it looks like. Now you can do this on your phone as well. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So I have in my cash flow manager various things. I have monthly reoccurring fees of $29.95 here. I have wages that I pay to one of my children or something like that. Again, these are just examples. This is for trial and error. This is not exact. I paid $450 here. This is daycare that was paid for business expense. This is travel, lodging, hotel. This is cell phone. Okay, we come down here, communication. You can see that's a cell phone. You come down here, you can see that this is a cable TV. You can come on down here, you got transportation mileage. We got car number 1. We see the start mileage, end mileage, how many is business miles. You can come on down here, you got things like office rent. So what happens when you come over here, you have enter new expense, enter new income. When I come to enter new expense, I click on this and it drops down into a enter box. Now, right here under this drop down selection here, you can see all kind of expenses that we have in here. I want to point out something to you that I think is very relevant here in this drop down menu. Let me come down here and we can see all of these drop down menus here that we have in here. So you can custom make these to fit whatever you want. So let's take the person who have more than one business. By having more than one business, they can select to either do a new cash flow manager for each one, or they can go in and then list them in here, inclusive in this, so they can have them on the cash flow manager for both. Now watch this right here. I just put in here ABC business. That just saying that's a different business. So it'll sort those differently than it will the ones that does not have the ABC after it. So I wanted you to see that so you can see how it looks when you're doing some different businesses. So we have different mileage here for businesses, and then when you start talking about the difference and what you're trying to do here. So let's come up here. I show you some other stuff. Okay, we got ABC cable TV here. So just different things just to show you how you do it. Now, if you want to customize this, all you do is come over here and you drop down, you click on customize, and when you do the customization, you're going to come down and it's going to tell you create a new, and you just type it in and save it. That's all you have to do. Once you type it in and save it, it now becomes a part of the dashboard. It now becomes a part of the menu. When you save it, now when I come back, I want to enter new expense. So let's come down here and let's take an expense. Let's say that, okay, I'm going to use a typical one that I love to use here, transportation mileage. Okay, so the date is already filled if I do it every day, but if I miss the date, I can simply go back to another date. Now I just say I go back to the 22nd. See how that date changed? Now I don't have to put in here any amount. I'm just going to say Alvin. And I can go ahead and since it's up here, I can then pull this down right here in there. And then I'm going to say I was prospecting. I went to prospecting to meet up, okay, then where? Now, I don't know the name of y'all gas stations and all of that, where y'all live, and I don't know all of this stuff, you got, but I'm just going to say I went to McDonald's at Lake Palace. This is somewhere in Louisiana, but it'll do. It's just a place. You put the name of the place. Who? I went here, I prospected. So let's say I picked up a name, and I'm going to say I picked up John Jones. I picked up a name. Okay, I prospected John Jones on 4/22. Now watch this right here. I left my home and I'm going to work. So I'm going to use card number 1. I don't know what the miles were at that point. I really don't know what they are. But I'm going to go ahead and put something in here, and I can correct them later if they're not right. But I'm going to go ahead and say that this is 71, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's not 710,000, 71,000 miles. It took me to 71,100 miles to get 71,055 to get to work. So that I'm gonna take off 5 miles, get into wherever I stopped at. So on my stop, I'm going to put in here 5 miles, 50 miles is going to be business mile. Now watch what happens. I'm going to save that entry. Okay. Now, I'm going to save that entry. I'm going to come down here and find that entry. So 422, here's where I was prospecting. Look at what this says, ladies and gentlemen, so you see it. It says odometer start, miles and business mile. Now let's look at what it did so you can see it. I started at 71,000. I went to 7155. That was 55 total miles. 50 was business miles. Remember in the circle, it said temporary stop, then back and forth to work. So in this deal, what we're saying, it took us 5 miles. Now, in the afternoon when you return, you can do the same thing. That's how you track business miles. Let's do one more, business miles, okay? Let's go with, I'm gonna do one more business mile. You got multiple cars. What I do is I assign my cars, which car I'm gonna use as multiple, as car 1 and car 2. All I do is I start off day 1 when I set this up. I set up which car is going to be car 1 and which car is going to be car 2. I happen to own Cadillacs. And so I put in my car as car 1 and I put my wife's car as car 2. Then I have a van. I put the van as car 3. So now when I'm saying car 1, car 2, car 3, I'm tracking which car I'm using. So let's say that I'm going to do, again here, Alvin Curry here, and I'm going to do a business trip. I'm driving somewhere. So I'm going on a business, I got a business trip. Let me see here. I want to do, I'm going to do business trip and lunch. I'm going somewhere to do lunch with someone. So now what I'm going to do is where, let's say that was going to be out of town. So I'm trying to find somewhere that's out of town. All right, New Orleans here. That's a long way from where I live. So now I'm going there and I'm going to be doing to driving to New Orleans for this business luncheon and dinner and all that, and stuff. So now I'm going, if I took someone else with me, I can make notes there. Let's say I do car 3 this time. I don't know again what the mileage is, but let's go with 15,000. Let me go down here. Let's go with 15,000 miles. Let's come down and say, because it takes, that's about a 500-mile trip there. So I'm going to go 15,595. Okay, so it's 595 miles that I drove there. So I count the whole 595 because I drove from Atlanta to a business trip in New Orleans. Now, the other thing I generally do is I generally write in here whose name I'm working with. So if I'm working with Damon here, I would say Damon, and I would put that in here and I would say who I'm working with. Because what the IRS is looking for, what are you doing this trip? I'm already have prearranged a trip with him. I'm going to have some emails back and forth on what we're working on. Right now, let me give you an example. I'm coming to LA in June. Anthony and I are working on the trip already. We're going to have correspondent emails set up. We're setting up hotels. All this will be proof one day if I get audited that I was coming to LA for a business trip. So now we come down and we have this here and we say save entry. Now again, We went on to put that in for today's date, and look at what happened. This is card 3 this time. It just keep adding to these numbers. Let's go up and let's do a luncheon. Let's do a business luncheon. Okay? I'm gonna do this time a meal. I'm gonna take someone out to do a business presentation. So I want to do a meal because we can't do entertainment anymore. And this time I'm going to do it on, I'll use the 23rd here. And this time I do need to put a dollar amount in. I have a dollar amount here of $100. So now who? Alvin Curry. I took out, okay, luncheon. Okay, so I did a lunch trip. So I want to find lunch and prospect in here. So I took a prospect out to lunch. What I generally do with this is I put in a name right here. This prospect, I put in John Jones. I took John Jones out to lunch. Where did we go? We went to Dennis. Okay. We went to Dennis here. No, I don't want you to be doing all that, okay? We went to Dennis on Panola. Okay. Now, all right, so yeah, I've been figured out my skills is not typing. My skills is talking. Okay, this time I'm going to drive car 2. I'm going to say that car 2 has 200,000 miles on it. And it's going to take me 200,000, 45. I drove there for lunch and back, so I count the 45 miles to lunch also. Now watch what happens. Watch what happens. I'm going to save this. Now this time, a couple of things are going to happen. We're going to come down and we're going to see this lunch here. Okay? The lunch is here. So this time falls under meals, not transportation miles. I got my dollar amount. See, mileage, I'm just going to write that off at 58 cents a mile. I got my who, what, when, where, what car I drove, the miles, how many is business miles. So I'm still going to get my business miles for driving there, and I'm going to get to write off my meals. If I'm traveling, let's do one more. Let's come up here. Let's do expenses. Okay. Look like we're going to be a little over, ladies and gentlemen, over this 7 o'clock, whatever time it is. So y'all hang with me just for a minute, okay? This is going to be some good stuff for you. So this time I want to do travel. I want to do lodging, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put in here lodging. I'm traveling, okay? If I got airfare, but I chose lodging. I'm going to do $500 just for GP. Okay, $500. And I'm going to say Alvin. And this time I'm going to say my wife was traveling with me. That'll be more than $500 there. I got to say $1,000. We got 2 tickets there to travel, and we're on a business trip. Business trip here. Okay, hotel. That's business trip hotel. And then we're going to say this is going to be Holiday Inn. Greensboro. Okay. So we're in the Holiday Inn Greensboro. This is where we travel to. Now, we flew here, so we don't have mileage now. Now, if we drove to the airport, we can write the miles off. But we flew here, so we talk about now this hotel accommodations here that we're doing. So actually, this is not the flight. This is hotel accommodation. So $500 may be reasonable for hotel accommodations. Both of us staying in the same room. So now we come down here and we have save entry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is all you do. You can put in reoccurring expenses or reoccurring income. I have a reoccurring income here. Big Willie income. It says biweekly reoccurring income, $1,500. So if I save on the confirm, look what happens. Now it comes down, it says, if this happened, all I gotta do is save it. Now it shows up the income category. I got reoccurring income on a barbecue for Alvin here. This is 4/7. Watch what happened. 4/7. I'm gonna save it and watch what happens. You can see right here, we have income in this category. 4/5, this was Big Willie here. 1,400 that we did, Miss Willie. And then on the 7th, we come on down to right here with Alvin Barbecue. That was 300. So you can see on this side, we have income, and on the other side is expenses. So you have both. Now watch what happens here, okay? What tax people should love, Damon, when they see this, is we can do income and expense, and then for a business person that does taxes, we can come in here. This is in numerical order. We can come in here and just click a button and say categorize. Watch what happens. It's going to automatically put everything in a category. It's going to show how much money we made in Alvin's Barbecue. It's going to show how much we got here in every category. So now the tax preparer, all they do is put this on the tax forms. It's right there. Now, we have $7,000 for the month of April and $3,000 expenses. But let's go back and do something else. Up here on the date, I'm going to do the drop-down menu right above the Sunday. I take this back 1 month at a time. I went back to March, went back to February, went back to January. Watch what happened. Now I'm going to put all the data in for the entire year of 2019. So now we can see date January the 6th here. So now we come straight down and we can see all of Alvin Barbecue for these 4 months. $4,200. Car sales, $1,500. Commission, these are commissions I made in business. Again, this is just temporary, folks. It's not for real, but it's showing you how it works. $7,000. Her job, $11,000. His job, $15,000. Rent on house, they made some money to rent the house. Here's ABC. See how we got ABC here on his job? We got ABC here, different companies. 2,400. Just made these different companies. Cable TV, ABC, going to ABC company. So we know which company to put this on. Cell phone, we know which company to put it on. Commissions, $1,000. Communication, $900. Daycare, we know what company to put it on. Meals, meetings and seminars, monthly renewal fees, office rent, transportation mileage. Look at all this transportation mileage. I want to show you something. I went to church here, and I didn't count the miles going to church back and forth. Those 85 miles. I didn't count those. So, folks, you can choose to do what you want to, but I don't choose to count miles going to church. So I got the total miles there. But now it does count other miles when you're traveling to like hotels and things. Traveling on lunches, that's included too. So now you can see all of the miles are separated out in 3 cars. The expenses are broken out in categories. Now I'm gonna show you some other stuff here that's gonna do. This is awesome, folks. Tax people should love this. If you can show a tax person this and they don't love it, something wrong with them. The tax people I show it to, they love this tool. All right, so here is what it does. You got an income and expense statement. Watch what happens. Click on this blue. This is called a profit and loss statement. Everybody should love this. Everybody should love this deal. Because if you were trying to get a business loan or a commercial loan or anything, this is the start of what it takes for you to get one. If you had to make a business plan, this is the start of what it takes. So we set up a budget. Now, budget is what you hope to get to, not where you are necessarily. You set up a budget. January, we were supposed to hit $9,900 with $9,500. February, we had 11,000 plus, 12,000 in March, and so forth in April, we've hit $700 to $800. But look what happened. It gives us year-to-date totals. Now we come down and look at our expenses. This is what we plan to spend on our business for expense-wise. This is what we've spent. We're going to spend $31.79. We spent $23. We spent $37. We spent $36. We spent $31, so forth. Total for the year is $12,000. So now we should have brought home, because we took care of business. Now, for the household, for these first 4 months, we should have $28,000 left for the household to pay household expenses, because these are business expenses. You should do another cash flow manager to attract where the $28,000 go in your household. Now, when that happens, you're tracking where all of your money go. When you track where all your money go, you can do it. Up here in the yellow, you see all the years that I have. If you ever get an audit, all you have to do is click back on that year and print down all of your expenses. They'll always be there. Now, the other thing you can do with your phone is you can save the receipts. On your phone, you can take pictures of the receipts when you're at restaurants and checks and all that stuff, and all of them are saved. When you do that, they'll show up in this column right here that says receipt. And now when you give that to a tax person, they can click on the receipt and see it. If it's a check that you paid the children, you just make a copy of it and put it there. Now, if anything ever happened, your home is not lost. Your records are not lost to taxes. Now watch this. We did the profit and loss. Let's look at something else that's very important. Mileage. The IRS requires that you keep a mileage log. So here we have a mileage log of everywhere we went. You can print this out and send it to the IRS. It tells you how many was business miles for car 1, business miles for car 2, business miles for car 3. What was personal and what was the total miles. These are the requirements for the IRS. Because they don't let nobody tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the IRS know everywhere you went was not business. Now, let me say something. We have multiple cars in our household. Only my wife and I are there. Her car is primarily used for non-business purposes. My cars are always used for business purpose. However, if I drive her car on a business appointment, that's why I put it down as car number 2. But the van, I do a lot of business in the van, and that's why I put it down as car number 3. So you got this business mileage log. All of this can be done from your phone. You have a mobile app, you download the mobile app. It will allow you to track GPS mileage on your phone. It will allow you to take pictures of receipts, and all of it will show up automatically on the website. You don't have to rekey it in. If you do it on the phone, it'll show up in the website automatically. So when you're doing this, you put it in one place, it'll show up the other place. If I put it in on my computer and then go to my phone and look at it, I can see it. It's already linked. Everything is synced in and it links together. So when you're talking about income shifting, you have to keep good records to make sure all of your tax stuff counts. And when you get an audit, when you get an audit, you ain't got to panic. If you got these records, if you got the receipts, you keep them on the system, And now when you do that, there is no need to panic, ladies and gentlemen. This is an awesome tool. Now, in the interest of time tonight, I'm not going to go through, I'm going to show you some other tools tomorrow on debt elimination and something we call to work hand in hand with this that we call the cash flow strategist. Ladies and gentlemen, when you start to understand all the value you have by partnering with MyEcon, you're going to be like, oh my world. This company has filled in all of the gaps. We built this company to partner with other companies. We don't want to compete. Someone asked me the other day, why don't we do taxes? Because we want to partner with tax professionals, not compete with them. We don't do investments because we want to partner with financial service companies, not compete with them. So when it comes to things like real estate, we don't do that, but we do partner with real estate companies. So we partner with a lot of different companies. I did a presentation yesterday, and I have 2 or 3 groups already that's a part of my team that do credit repair. Yes, we have a do-it-yourself credit repair. And you say, why did they join MyEcon? Because what they found out is working by themselves, trying to do credit repair for everybody, they run them crazy trying to do credit repair. So credit repair people partner with us because they want some leverage. To get wealthy in your life, you have to build first leveraged income and then residual income. As we work together over these next few months and few years, I'll teach you everything I know about the financial world. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you that's significant. But I need you to understand this as if you just entered college. You can't graduate college in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. It takes 120 semester hours for you to graduate college. Don't quit before you get started. There's been a couple of people quit and they say, oh, I don't know how it works. Well, did you really believe you were going to go get something that's going to pay you tens of thousands of dollars and you were going to know how it works in 1 day? See, people don't think that way about their jobs. People don't think that way about other things. But somehow they have been misled to believe that if they join a marketing company, it ain't nothing to that. I'm supposed to get rich overnight. Well, let me ask this question. If you're going to make tens of thousands of dollars at anything, wouldn't it make sense that you have to know how it works? So attending these trainings with Damon and Ashley, ladies and gentlemen, that to me is one of the most important things you can do. I'm going to eventually tell you how you can attend some trainings I do. But ladies and gentlemen, right now, since this is early on, and because they're doing such a wonderful job at this, I need you to understand you need to lock in and stay focused. So instead of me trying to get you to come to what I do, I'm going to come to you. And I'm going to be working with Damon and Ashley on these calls as often as I possibly can to help train you all in other areas. Tonight, this has been record keeping with your cash flow manager. I want to show you one other quick thing, then I'm going to take questions, because I can always come back to this. The way you get out of this is you go to MyEcon VMC. That takes you back to the MyEcon website. You come down to where it says mobile app. And now when you come down to the mobile app, you're going to come down, click on the mobile app. And this is going to tell you where to go, Google or the App Store, and how to get the apps. You have one for the website, regular for MyEcon, and one for the app, which is now the cash flow manager. So what you have to do is you have to get these apps. And if you get these apps, this is what will help you get started in your business and help your business work. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we're a little over 7 o'clock already a little over 5 o'clock on your time. But if Damon, if you want to take a few questions, I will. If you want to shut it down, since we're over 5, it's up to you. Tell me what you want to do, and we'll take it from there.
Mr. Curry, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Amazing training. Thank you so much. This is Ashley. Life-changing. I've got so many text messages of people saying that the training is awesome, life-changing, 100%. Just so many people are grateful and thankful for you taking the time to spend to make sure that we have a clear understanding of exactly what we have and how to make it work. So from my heart, me and my husband, to you, thank you so much. We're going to open the call up now. If anybody has any questions, very quickly, we could take 1 or 2 questions, and then tomorrow he'll be back with us at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please push *6. That way you'll unmute your line, and that way you can have a chance to answer any questions that you would have for Mr. Curry. So does anybody have any questions right now?
I can hold mine till tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Who's that speaking?
That's Eric in Colorado.
Okay, Eric.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I had a question, Ashley. Can you hear me?
Certainly. Yes, Adam.
Okay, awesome. I had a question, Alvin. It's Adam from Dallas.
I got you. Go ahead.
Hey, man, real quick. So when you were doing the mileage, at one point you said that whenever you were doing the McDonald's trip or whatnot, and you were doing the prospecting, you did 55 miles total, but then you only did 50 miles towards business miles. Why was that?
Okay. Remember in the example on the website for the business miles, if a person is driving to work, we were trying to show you how driving to work. So let me see if I can pull that up really quickly, because that's a big deal. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly, show that again. Let me see, where am I? Right here, please. Okay. So here's the deal, Adam. Let me do it real quickly, because that's a really big question. And it's a really great question on top of that. Okay. So let's look at this mileage deal again. Publication 463. Let's look at this mileage thing again. I just put it in, when you leave home in the morning and you go to a temporary work location, I just said it was going to be 3 to 5 miles, maybe a mile. But remember, when you leave the temporary work location and go to your regular job, back and forth, that's always tax deductible. It's never tax deductible if you go straight to work. So remember, I said you have to stop at somewhere, maybe McDonald's, maybe Starbucks, maybe a gas station, pass out a brochure. So if that was 3 to 5 miles from your home, now the rest of the distance to and from work will be considered business mile. So I did 55 miles, indicating that we made a stop and then we went on to work. We were prospecting, though. We stopped the temporary location was to prospect. Does that make sense?
It does.
Can you see this example on the screen? Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's right. It says right there, it says deductible if you have a regular or main job at another location. So you're saying from the home to the McDonald's that's right down the street, that part's not deductible, but from the McDonald's to your regular job and back to McDonald's in this event,
right,
is always deductible.
Always deductible, yes,
But not back from the McDonald's back to home.
Right, I just don't take that part. I don't take 2 or 3 miles. Okay. Whatever that is, I just go ahead and say, because you want to make it reasonable. You don't want to act like you're taking everything, you ain't doing nothing else. I always say, I don't do it, So because you tell you right here, never deductible. This part is kind of questionable, so I just don't take that. But I'm going to take the big part, which is the 50 miles out of the 55.
Makes sense.
So it may be like if it's a 50-mile trip, and it take you a mile to get there, you may take 49 miles and not the one. That was all I was trying to show.
Yep, that makes sense. Awesome.
Okay, good.
Hey,
Anyone else really quickly?
Alvin, this is Jeff. I've got a question real quick. Is the app free, or do you have to have the subscription to get the app on the phone?
You have to be in My Econ, but it's free once you're in My Econ.
Okay. And then the app can take pictures from your phone and put it directly into the expense report?
Absolutely.
Can it take multiple pictures per expense, or just one, like one receipt per expense?
You got me on that one, Jeff. Okay. I would have to ask some of my tech guy, but what I will do is I will know the answer to that question tomorrow. Okay.
Multiple. Okay. I already know multiple. Jeff, you can take as many pictures as you want. It logs into My Econ, and then you can assort the receipts wherever you want to send them to.
Wow.
Okay, good.
Wow. That's a heck of a system.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Last question. Let's do one more. Anybody got one more?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Curry. This is Christina Wells here in Southern California. Thank you so much. Invaluable. The email address and the password for the mobile, is it exactly the same?
As your My Econ website, yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Exactly. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. In the interest of time, Damon has been here 10 hours plus today, so we're not going to keep them too long. They're very committed, but we are going to be back on tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be kind of a recapping of a lot of stuff we talked about. So noon, we're going to kind of recap, and we're going to recap tomorrow evening information so you can get it. He is recording this, so you'll be able to get it for that. So I appreciate everybody being on. Thank you. And y'all have a great night. God bless you. Damon, Ashley, you guys are real champions. Stand up. You're doing all this for your team. I can't thank you enough for just being great leaders. You guys are great. Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. We appreciate you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.